The following is transcribed.
Welcome to Condensed Bat-Supe. Now with 66% fewer superheroes than our regular podcast, which makes Condensed Bat-Supe even less nutritious, but still just as delicious. We're featuring episodes of the adventures of Superman without the caped crusaders. Tie on your capes for lots of angry desperation, plenty of unbridled hatred, and crazy schemes galore. In this edition of Condensed Bat-Supe, we proudly continue one of the most famous and consequential Superman stories of all time with Chapter 15 of The Clan of the Fiery Cross, as originally broadcast on June 28, 1946.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, with Matt Riggs still at large in Metropolis, the lives of Jimmy Olsen, Perry White, and Chuck Riggs are, as Superman fears, gravely imperiled.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. Say, you know what I'd like to see? Well, sometime I'd like to see how many thousands of feet it would reach if you heaped up all the tender flakes of Kellogg's Pep that are eaten for breakfast these days. Boy, what a skyscraper that would be. And wouldn't it be a big pile of good eating? Because Pep is crunchy and crisp and golden toasted. Pep is full up with sparkling sunshine flavor. Why, Kellogg's Pep is called the Sunshine Cereal, as cheerful and sunny a dish as you'd ever want to taste. Mom knows Pep is good for you, too. Sure, gives you solid whole wheat nourishment plus. That's one reason it's a smart idea to eat up every toasty flake in your bowl. And here's another reason. Nowadays, it's especially important not to waste cereal, because the cereal grains are being sent to fellows and girls overseas. Keep that in mind when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocers. Don't waste it. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and finish up every bit you pour out. And say, kind of keep watch on your younger brothers and sisters, too. That's easy, isn't it? And it's important. Remember, gang, eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Now, the adventures of Superman. When Superman rescued Editor Perry White and Jimmy Olsen from a group of hate-mongers and terrorists, Matt Riggs, their fanatical leader, managed to escape. Fearing the testimony of White and Jimmy, Riggs decided to do away with them and with his young nephew Chuck, who had revealed his uncle's identity to Superman. While the police searched for him, Riggs used a secret tunnel to enter his home, where he lived with his sister-in-law and her son, Chuck. As we continue now, he has noiselessly climbed the stairs to Chuck's room. The first streaks of dawn faintly light the shadowy hall as the hate-crazed Riggs, his slate-colored eyes blazing with venom, softly opens his nephew's door and approaches the bed. Listen.
No, you double-crossing little rat. I'm going to... What? He's not here.
Who's there? Who's there, I said?
Not so loud, sir. It's me, Matt.
Mercy me. Matt Riggs, how'd you get in?
Never mind, Matt. Where's Chuck?
The police are looking for you. They're outside the house. I'm going to...
Oh, no, you don't.
Let go my wrist. You're hurting me.
You were going to call the cops, weren't you? Going to give away your own brother-in-law.
Let me go.
Where's Chuck?
He's at... I don't know where he is.
You're lying.
No, I don't...
You started to say where he is. Now go on, say it.
I didn't say anything. I tell you, I don't know where...
You're lying. Now tell me where he is or I'll...
Stop, please. You're hurting me.
You tell me where that sneaking little whelp is.
Why do you want him?
He revealed my identity to Clark Kent.
Well, he did right. Your gang's wicked, like them Nazis. I'd have told on you, too, if I'd have known... Ow!
You're going to tell me where he is?
No. I don't care what you do to me. I won't.
Wait. I'll bet he's at Jim Olsen's house, isn't he?
No, he's not there.
Oh, you gave it away, Sarah.
No, I tell you, he's not there. He's
quiet.
not...
Now I can get both those young rats at the same time. Then there'll only be White left. Oh, no, you don't.
Let me go, you murderer.
No.
Let me go.
I got a big job to do. Nobody's going to stop me. I'll tie you up with this sheet, and then I'll lock you in the closet. And I'll take care of your whelp son and Olsen. House number 1601. Let's see now. Must be that house in the corner. All right, slow down, Lou.
Okay.
No, stop. Don't stop. Keep going.
But you said...
Keep going, I said.
I don't get it.
Didn't you see that car that just turned into the driveway of Olsen's house?
No.
No, well, look now. We're passing it, but don't slow up.
It's a police car.
Yeah. Darn good thing I saw it in time.
What do you suppose the cops want here?
Don't know. Sarah couldn't have called him because I tied her up, then locked her in the closet. All right, turn the corner and stop under that big tree, Lou, right there by that vacant lot.
Maybe we ought to keep going.
Do as I say, will you?
Okay, you're the boss.
All right, kill the motor.
Right.
Now, let's see. Blast it, those cops are patrolling right in front of Olsen's house.
Oh, we better scram, Matt, before they spot us.
No. They won't spot us up here. This tree hides us.
We're taking a big risk, Matt.
Dirty break, Olsen and Chuck both right in that house, and I can't get at them. Yeah, and chances are the cops are guarding Perry White's house, too.
Sure, there must be. So there's nothing we can do, so we might as well blow, huh?
You turn that motor off.
But, Matt...
Turn it off, I said.
Okay. But I don't see the percentage in sitting here right under the noses of them cops.
No, you don't.
Even if Olsen and Chuck walked out of the house right now, you wouldn't take a chance of shooting at them.
I wouldn't I? Well, just let me see them walk out of that house. I'll drop them in their tracks with this rifle.
With all them cops around? You're crazy, Matt. But I'm not. I'm getting out of here.
Oh, no, you're not.
I sure am. I ain't sticking here with no trigger-happy madman.
A fine brother you are. Why, you're as yellow as all the other rats who ran out on me, but you're not going to run out until this job is over. Not until Chuck and White and Olsen are dead. And I and our group are safe again. Now, you sit here and be quiet.
Now, look, Matt.
Shut up! Did you get that newspaper from me like I had told you to?
Yeah, here it is.
Let me see it. I want to see what they say about us. You keep your eyes peeled on Olsen's house. If that kid comes out, you yell quick, see?
Okay.
Now, then. Oh, look at that.
What?
A picture of my action committee right here on the first page.
Holy smokes.
Listen to this. Matt Riggs' action committee pleads for mercy. Blames Riggs for attacks on Lee family and Perry White and James Olsen. Say they were duped by false promises into wrongdoing. Why, the dirty yellow rat.
You can't blame him for being scared, Matt. With Superman after him and the cops, well, that's bad odds.
Will you shut up? Listen to this. Will Jennings admits joining attack on Dr. Lee and his young son, Tommy, because Matt Riggs had promised to secure a $5,000 a year position for him in the health department. A position now being held by Dr. Lee, the well-known Chinese bacteriologist. When questioned by Superman, Jennings admitted that he lacked proper qualifications for the position, but hoped nevertheless... Oh, boy, wait till I get my hands on that Jennings.
The dirty squealer. I didn't think he'd rat on you.
Yeah, but don't you worry. He'll come crawling back when I'm on top again, and I will be. All I have to do now is to get rid of White and Olsen and Chuck so they can't testify against me. Then...
But how are you going to do that if the cops is going to be watching them all the time?
Oh, shut up. I'll find a way. Hey, wait, what's this?
What?
Look. It says the boys' baseball championship of Metropolis will be decided this afternoon at the stadium when Unity House plays against Metropolis High School.
So what's that to get excited about?
Will you let me finish and shut up? It says Jim Olsen, manager of the Unity House team, announced that Chuck Riggs will pitch. And Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet, sponsors of the championship tournament, will be on hand to present the winning team with solid gold baseballs. Uh-oh. Now do you get it, Lou?
Why, maybe. You mean...
I mean the three persons I've got to get rid of. Perry White, Jim Olsen, and my nephew Chuck will all be at the stadium baseball field this afternoon, and we're going to be there, too. Come on, Lou. Get this car rolling. We've got things to do.
We'll return in a moment for the startling climax of today's episode. So stand by.
Say, gang, if you want to add some extra zip to your breakfasts this weekend, try a blueberry whirligig. That's this week's pep dish of the week. Kellogg's Pep teamed up with fresh, ripe blueberries. And is it terrific? Listen, you start off with your serving of Pep, the Sunshine cereal, topped with a sprinkling of juicy blueberries. Then, now carefully, take your spoon and give it a whirl, mixing the berries all through those crisp flakes of Pep. Finish off with milk and sugar, and see how this neat dish gives your appetite a whirl, too. What those tender whole wheat flakes can do for berries. Fact is, no matter how you serve it, Kellogg's Pep helps your morning appetite wake up smiling every time. Pep is crunchy, and it's delicate and loaded with sparkling sunshine flavor. Such a slick treat that you'll want to polish off every bit in your bowl. And that's the right thing to do, you know, especially nowadays when we're sending the cereal grains to fellows and girls overseas. So, gang, when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure it's not wasted. Eat up every bit that's poured in your bowl. Pass the word along to the rest of your family, too. Remember, eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Crowds are pouring into the Metropolis Stadium for the game between Jim Olsen's Unity House team and Metropolis High School, finalists in the baseball tournament for the Boys' Championship of Metropolis. On the field, both teams are engaged in practice. At one end of the field, Clark Kent stands in anxious conversation with Police Inspector Henderson.
I don't care what you say. I'm worried, Inspector. I still think this game should have been called off until Matt Riggs is caught.
Oh, relax, Kent. There isn't nearly as much danger as you think.
Relax? Are you kidding? You know Matt Riggs swore he'd kill Mr. White, Jim Olsen, and Chuck.
Threats are a dime a dozen, you know that.
Well, that may be, but this man is a fanatic, Inspector. Hate and disappointment have made him a maniac. He won't stop short of murder, and if he can get away with it.
Well, he can get away with it. Anyhow, not here in the stadium.
Why?
First, because he can't get in. And second, because I've got top-notch men posted all over the field and in the stands.
Well,
if Riggs somehow manages to show up, he'll be a dead pigeon before he can move a muscle.
I don't know. I wish I could feel as confident as you do. But Riggs is shrewd and shifty.
Take my word for it, Kent. He'll have to be 100 times smarter than he is to get into the stadium. So relax and enjoy the game. You leave Matt Riggs to me.
I'm sorry, I won't relax, Inspector. I can't. Not for a moment. Because I smell danger.
Once more, Clark Kent's super senses warn him of danger. But can even he cope with the triple death trap even now being set by Matt Riggs? For at this moment, on a high roof overlooking the stadium, Matt Riggs and his henchman Lou lie flat on their stomachs, shielded from all view by an overhanging skylight which fans out above them. Held firmly in Riggs' hands and pointed at the field below is a powerful long-range rifle equipped with telescopic sights. Now he watches through field glasses.
They're getting ready to start the game, Lou. In a moment, Chuck will walk out there in the pitcher's mound, and I'll have a good, clear shot at him.
But how about Olsen and White? You got to get them all pretty close together.
Yeah, look. White's walking into the box now. Olsen's sitting down there at the end of the bench. I can get an easy, clear beat on all three of them.
You sure you can hit them from way up here?
Hit them from up here? Why, I can knock over a running deer at 1,000 yards. And this will be like shooting sitting ducks. Watch.
Lifting his long rifle to his shoulder, Matt Riggs squints through the powerful telescopic sights, bringing Jimmy Olsen squarely into view as the young reporter sits tensely at the end of the Unity House bench. What will happen? How can Superman avert this final threat to his friends in the scant seconds remaining? There's plenty of excitement ahead in the smashing climax of this story, so don't fail to be with us Monday when amazing things take place. Tune in, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, gang, if you've ever had a race with your dog, you know how much he enjoys running and jumping. Now, dogs are like people. To keep their muscles strong, they have to eat right. So if you want to help your dog to stay in the groove, to have strong bones and teeth and muscles, just mix Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food in with the scraps of meat and fat you give him. There are 3 kinds of Grow Pup, all with a grand, meaty flavor. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. Ask your mother to feed your dog Kellogg's Grow Pup regularly. And be sure to be with us on Monday for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
And now, faster than a speeding bullet, Condensed Bat-Supe proudly concludes The Clan of the Fiery Cross with Chapter 16, which was originally broadcast on July 1st, 1946.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, vowing vengeance on Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, and his young nephew Chuck, Matt Riggs attempts to make the Unity House baseball field an arena of death.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. You know, when we start off this show with P-E-P, Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, we're not talking through our hats. No, sir, because Kellogg's Pep and Old Man Son sure do have something in common. For one thing, the way they brighten up breakfast. Why, just one look at a sunny golden toasted bowl of Kellogg's Pep and your appetite wakes up smiling. You can hardly wait to start eating. Then, when you sample that first spoonful, all crisp and toasty and delicious, you know that you're going to go for this dish. And did I say delicious? Why, believe me, gang, Kellogg's Pep is on the Sunbeam, loaded with the sparkling sunshine flavor that's mighty keen. You'll keep right on eating until you've polished off every tender flake in your bowl. And that's the smart thing to do, you know, especially nowadays when we don't want to waste cereal. Because whole wheat is one of the grains picked out to go to fellows and girls all over the world. So get hep to Pep, gang. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure it's not wasted. Handle with care is the idea if you pour your own Pep. And eat up every bit you pour out. And pass the word along to the rest of your family, too. Just remember, eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Due to the efforts of Superman, a group of hate-mongers and terrorists has been broken up, and most of its cowardly leaders are in jail. But Matt Riggs, the vicious head of the band, is still at large. Wild with rage at his nephew Chuck, who had revealed his identity to Superman, Riggs determined to do away with the boy, and with Editor Perry White and Jimmy Olsen, whose testimony can send him to jail for life. Discovering that all 3 objects of his hate would be at a baseball game for the boys' championship of Metropolis gave the half-mad fanatic his opportunity. Everything looked just right, with Jimmy Olsen managing the Unity House team, Chuck Riggs pitching, and Perry White watching the game from a box. Now, while police keep sharp watch over the crowded stadium, Matt Riggs lies a block away on a high roof overlooking the playing field. A long-range rifle equipped with telescopic sights is in his hand. He's accompanied by a seedy, ferret-faced man named Lou. Listen.
Olsen's sitting on the end of the bench. I'll get him first. Oh, blast it.
What's the matter, man?
Some big guy walked over there and stood right in front of Olsen. He's still standing there.
Then get your big mouth nephew, Chuck. He's all alone on the pitcher's mound.
Look, I've got to get Chuck and Olsen and Perry White, you sap.
Sure, I know, but...
Yeah, and they all have to be in the clear at the same time before I shoot.
Why do they?
Why? Because there'll be a flash in the gun that'll give us away when I fire. I gotta pick them off 1, 2, 3, just like that. So we can get away before the cops get here.
Oh.
Wait. The big guy is walking away. Now. Doggone it.
Now what?
Oh, don't you see the players gathering around Chuck on the mound?
Oh, yeah. I was watching Olsen. What happened?
That other team got a couple of hits, I guess, and the Unity players are talking it over with Chuck. Yeah. Sure, there goes Olsen out to join the party.
I wish you'd get this over with, man. I got to jump.
Well, it won't be long now. I'll get those 3 rats, and then we can be going.
You sure you can hit him from way up here, huh?
Am I sure? Didn't I tell you I can knock down a running bear at 1,000 yards? Well, this job is a cinch. I'll get White, then Olsen, and then that double-crossing nephew of mine, just like I said I would. Wait and see.
As Matt Riggs lies waiting on the nearby roof, Jimmy Olsen, unaware of his peril, fidgets nervously on the Unity House bench as he speaks to Clark Kent.
I'm worried, Kent.
So am I, Jim.
It's only the first inning, and Metropolis High got 2 runs already.
Oh, that.
What do you mean, oh, that? Chuck is nervous as a wet hen. Oh, boy, if only we had Tommy Lee pitching for us today.
Uh-huh. Can't see him anywhere.
You can't see who?
Matt Riggs.
What? Matt Riggs?
Mm-hmm.
But, gee whiz, you think he's here?
I don't know, Jim. Inspector Henderson is certain he couldn't get into the stadium without being spotted, but I'm worried.
Ahead, we got a hit. Come on now, Frankie, drive him home. Aren't you excited, Mr. Kent?
Oh, yeah, sure I am, Jim, but I'd be a lot happier if I knew where Matt Riggs is.
Can't stand it up here much longer, Matt. I'm getting the jitters. Come on, get it over with and let's flow, will you?
Oh, take it easy, will you, Lou?
Take it easy, nothing. Supposing somebody sees us up here and calls the cops. There's cops all over the stadium.
Will you cut it out? Nobody can see us up here in this roof.
I ain't so sure. Look, you had a dozen chances to shoot. What are you waiting for?
I told you, didn't I? I'm not shooting until I can get White and Olsen and Chuck all in the clear. So I can get them with just 3 quick shots.
But all 3 of them are never in the clear at the same time.
They will be, though. And just as soon as they are, I'll let them have it.
Well, much home run tied the score, and Chuck Riggs seems to be settling down. Looks better for Unity House now, Kent.
That's right, Chief. If only...
If only what?
No, nothing.
Well, why do you keep walking around? Sit down here.
Oh, thanks. I'd rather stand. If anything happens, I'll be ready.
Ready? Ready for what?
I wish I knew. Frankly, I'm worried about Matt Riggs, Chief.
No, that rotten apple is far away from here by now.
I don't know.
He knows the police and the FBI are looking for him. Now, sit down, Kent, and forget about Matt Riggs.
I can't forget him. Got a powerful hunch he's nearby.
Oh, nonsense. Inspector Henderson's men are at every entrance and scattered through the stands. Riggs is stupid enough to try and get in here, they'd grab him.
I suppose so, but... Wait, what's that?
Our boy just struck out, if that's what you mean.
No, there was a strange flash of light up that way.
Flash of light?
Yes, like the sun reflecting on... Oh, there it is again.
No, I don't see anything.
Oh, it's gone now, but... Great Scott!
What? What is it, Kent?
On that roof. I'll see you later, Chief.
Now, man, the guy in the glasses is gone from in front of White's box.
Yeah, I see it. Chuck and Olsen still standing by the bench?
Yeah, let's see. They're walking away from each other, but they're all alone. Clear shot.
Yeah, okay. All right. Here's where those 3 rats get theirs. First, Mr. Perry White.
His mad, slate-colored eyes blazing, Matt Riggs takes careful aim at Perry White. Then slowly his finger curls around the trigger of his rifle. We'll be back in a moment for the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
Say, gang, I'll bet you're going to want to let out a cheer when you hear this. It's this week's brand new pep dish of the week. And is it slick? Listen, it's called a Peach Rocket. Yes, sir, that's right, a Peach Rocket, featuring Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal, in a nifty new way. Here's how it goes. You take firm, ripe slices of fresh peaches and line the sides of your bowl with them, so they're pointing up like rockets. Then pour on your serving of Kellogg's Pep so the tips of the peaches still shoot up at the top. Add milk and sugar, and there's your Peach Rocket, one of the dozens of ways Kellogg's Pep can give breakfast a lift. Will your appetite skyrocket when you latch onto that keen sunshine flavor, when you sample Pep's tender, toasted crispness? Why, you'll get such a bang out of eating Kellogg's Pep, you'll keep right at it until you've polished up your bowl clean as a whistle. And that's one way to keep from wasting it, Another way is to pour it out carefully. Because wasting cereal is not a good idea, particularly nowadays when the cereal grains are being sent to fellows and girls overseas. And say, keep an eye on your younger brothers and sisters, too. Remember, eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
As Matt Riggs, lying on a high roof overlooking the Metropolis Stadium, took careful aim at Perry White, who was sitting in a box on the field, Clark Kent was behind the stand, stripping off his business suit to stand revealed in the blue costume and red cape of Superman.
That Riggs on that roof with a rifle. He's aiming at Perry White. He's firing. Got to stop that bullet. Away!
Like a flashing comet, Superman streaks above the grandstand, then swoops down to snatch the whistling bullet just before it reaches the unsuspecting Perry White.
Got it. Firing again. At Jimmy this time. Away!
Coiling in midair, the man of steel straightens out and rockets across the diamond, seizing another leaden pellet from the air before it strikes Jimmy Olsen. Then,
2 out. Now for the third. Away!
Swerving, Superman flashes to the pitcher's mound at the speed of light, plucks a deadly bullet from the air as it is about to strike Chuck. Then, without pausing, he soars up from the stadium to the roof, where Matt Riggs, the look of fury on his face, is about to fire his rifle again.
Oh, no, you won't, Riggs.
What are you doing?
3 strikes are out. I'll take that rifle.
What the hoop, Matt, look!
Superman!
Right. Give me that gun, I said.
No, I won't.
Struggling won't help you, Matt.
You let me go. Let me go. I'm going to kill
You're
you.
all through killing, my friend, and you're all through with all your other dirty work. Come on, now. Under my arm with you. You too, mister.
Now, let me go. I didn't do nothing.
Tell that to the judge. All set for the city jail? Here we go. Up and away!
Leaping from the roof with Matt Riggs and his henchman under his arm, Superman streaks with them to police headquarters. A short time later, once more in his guise of the mild-mannered reporter Clark Kent, he is back in the stadium to stand beside Perry White as the gray-haired editor distributes small gold baseballs, emblematic of the boys' baseball championship of Metropolis, to the victorious Unity House players.
You boys of Unity House have done a fine job, and I'm proud of you. You've not only proved that you're the best baseball team, but you've proved that youngsters of different races and creeds can work and play together successfully, in the American way.
Well said, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Well, boys, now it's up to us to...
Excuse me for interrupting, Mr. White, but Chuck here wants me to tell you something.
Well, come on, Chuck. Speak for yourself.
No, wait, Mr. Kent.
Huh?
Well, he's afraid it'll sound like he's grandstanding if he says it himself. I can see what he means, so I said I'd talk for him.
Oh, I see. Well, what is it, Jim?
Well, Chuck feels like he doesn't deserve this gold baseball.
What?
Well, what kind of nonsense is that? Of course he does.
Certainly pitched a fine game.
Sure, that's what I told him. But he says Tommy Lee would have pitched the game if Chuck's uncle and his dirty gang hadn't broken his pitching arm. Besides, Tommy coached him through the game. So, well, he wants you to give his gold baseball to Tommy.
Well, I say, that's very decent of you, Chuck, but
Now, let me talk, Kent. It is decent of you, Chuck, but it won't be necessary. Because, you see, I've had another gold baseball made for Tommy.
Oh.
Now, I'd like all of you boys to come with me to deliver it to him. Now, what do you say?
Good,
huh?
that's swell, Chief.
Certainly is.
Oh.
Filing into taxicabs, Perry White, Clark Kent, Jimmy Olsen, and the happy Unity House players drive to Tommy Lee's house. And so another Superman adventure has come to a close. But even now, at this very moment, because the forces of greed and evil never rest, a great and menacing adventure is building swiftly to further tax the Man of Steel's powers. In the tiny hamlet of Squeen Run, Ohio, a man sits at a telegraph key, green eyeshade low on his forehead, and methodically transcribes a message which is being routed through his station due to line trouble elsewhere. Suddenly the man stiffens, reads the message before him, then leaps to his feet and rushes to the telephone.
Get me the Daily Planet newspaper in Metropolis, operator. Hurry, please, hurry. This is a matter of life or death.
His eyes literally popping from his head, his breathing labored. The telegrapher in tiny Squeen Run waits for his long-distance call to the Daily Planet to be put through. What foreshadowing of great danger did he read in that telegram? Don't fail to be with us tomorrow, fellows and girls, when we begin a brand new and exciting Superman story, packed with action, mystery, thrills, and Horatio F. Horn, the funniest detective you've ever heard of. So be sure to tune in, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is the copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. gang talk about famous names, why Kellogg is the greatest name in cereals. And Kellogg makes Kellogg's Shredded Wheat, crisp, tender biscuits that are full up with natural nut-sweet flavor, toasted the Kellogg way just right. Mighty good for breakfast and mighty good for you. They're whole wheat. Mom knows Kellogg's Shredded Wheat is economical, too. You get 15 biscuits in every package, and they're made to fit the bowl. Ask Mom to get you some Kellogg's Shredded Wheat. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
It's time for a Condensed Bat-Supe Extra Helping, because sometimes heroes operate on an expense account. This time, we'll be heading to Lake Mojave as America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator investigates a boating accident that may not have been an accident at all. It's the Mojave Red Matter from Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar, as originally broadcast on July 13th, 1958.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Will you accept a collect call, Mr. Dollar?
Huh?
It's from Lake Mojave Resort in Arizona.
Oh, say no more, operator. Just put him on.
Well, yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Hi, who is it this time? Buster Favor, Ham Pratt?
Johnny, this is Red.
Yeah, well, how's the fishing? Time for me to make another trek westward and find out from... Huh? Red?
That's right, Johnny.
Red who?
Well, you know, the guide out here, Red Barrett.
The fishing guide?
Oh, yes, sir.
Who claims to know Lake Mojave like the back of his hand and every good spot there is in it?
And I do, Johnny. That's a fact.
Then I repeat my question. How's the fishing?
Just as fine as ever, if you know where the good holes are, that is.
And you do?
Yes, I do.
So you think it's high time I fly on out there and wet a line, is that it?
No, sir. That's not what I'm calling you about, Johnny.
Well, what is it?
I don't rightly think I ought to tell you over the phone, Johnny. Well, I think you better come here just about as quick as you can.
But unless I know why...
I'll tell you when you get here.
Well, look, I usually do my traveling on expense account for an insurance company.
And you can this time.
Huh? What company?
The one that insured him, the Greater Southwest Insurance.
Insured who, Red?
Johnny, I'll tell you all that when you get here.
Now look.
They tell me there's a plane leaves New York right at high noon.
Listen, Red.
That'll get you into Las Vegas about 9:45 tonight, okay?
Okay, listen.
Goodbye, Johnny.
Red! Crazy old coot. He thinks for 1 minute that I'm going to get on. And yet, on second thought...
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Greater Southwest Insurance and Liability Company, Kingman, Arizona office. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Mojave Red matter. Expense account item 1420, phone call to the Kingman, Arizona office of Greater Southwest Insurance and Liability. On the theory it might be well to check with their agent, Jake Kessler, before going off half-cocked.
Hi, Johnny. Haven't seen or heard from you since 2 years ago when you came out here to investigate the murder at the old Midas Touch mine.
Yeah, I remember, Jake. Now listen.
Yeah?
Is everything going along okay these days?
What?
Well, I mean, no trouble with any of your clients, that sort of thing, huh?
Why, not a bit, Johnny. Why do you ask?
Just, wondered.
Well, if I did have, you know who I'd call.
No problems at all, huh?
I told you, not a... Hey, just what have you got stuck in your craw, Johnny?
Nothing. I just...
Well?
Well, tell me this. Any of your clients, policyholders, have any kind of trouble, accidents, anything like that over at Lake Mojave Resort lately?
Ah, so that's what's eating you. Well, Johnny, that claim was legitimate. It's in the home office for settlement. The company will pay it, and that'll be that.
What claim?
So just you stop worrying about it and forget.
What claim, Jake?
No, sir, Johnny, there's not a single solitary thing for you to investigate out here. So just you forget it.
Hey, you know something, Jake? You've just convinced me there is something to investigate. So I'm grabbing the first plane I can.
Well, Johnny, I'd love to see you, but I swear...
What's more, I'm charging my expense account to your company.
Oh? And, if you find out that I'm right and you're wrong?
Okay, Jake. Then you can shoot the crow and I'll eat it. Expense account item 2, $153 plane fare, Hartford to New York and New York to Las Vegas, Nevada. It was 9:45 on the dot as the big mainliner slowly circled down out of the clear, starlit sky. Unless you've seen the millions of stars that twinkle brightly through the clean, dry air over the Mojave Desert, you've really missed something. And as we glided down toward the landing strip on the south edge of Las Vegas, the multicolored lights of the fabulous resort town made it sparkle like a vast field of jewels. Beautiful. Yeah, and expensive. That is, if you insist on trying your hand at the gaming tables and the casinos that line the main drag. Believe me, brother, I know. But that's neither here nor there. As I grabbed my luggage and started for the car rental office, a tall, angular man, well-tanned and dressed in blue jeans, high-heeled boots, and 10-gallon hat sauntered over to me.
So you wouldn't take my word for it.
Oh, Jake.
That's right, Jake Kessler in person. And, Johnny, if you're here to investigate the claim on the Hobbs policy, well, there just isn't
Hobbs,
anything...
huh? Well, now I know that much. And suppose you tell me who Hobbs is, or was.
I'll tell you all about it, and when I have, you can hop on another plane and go right on back to Hartford. And all at your own expense. I still don't see whatever made you come out here, Johnny.
Apparently the Hobbs matter, so start telling me. Well, come on, Jake, come on.
All right, Johnny. All right, Elmer P. Hobbs, real estate in Los Angeles. Came over to the Lake Mojave Resort about 2 weeks ago, spent a few days fishing with his old pal, the guide they have there.
You mean Red Barrett?
Yeah.
Well, okay, go on.
And on Tuesday, a week ago, he rented one of the boats and went out by himself. Apparently he went up to a place called the Big Basin.
Yeah, I know it well. The lake's 3 or 4 miles wide up there.
Yeah, well, that afternoon a big wind came up, regular screamer. All the other boats came back to the landing, and all but Mr. Hobbs.
Oh?
The next morning, when the wind died down, they found his body washed up on the shore on the Nevada side.
That's all?
That's all.
You say a claim has been filed?
That's right, by one of his 2 beneficiaries.
Who?
His business partner back in L.A., Mr. Stuart Manley. I've passed the claim, and the company will pay it.
No investigation of any kind?
Oh, of course there was, Johnny. The Kingman Police, the Sheriff's Office, and the County Coroner. Accidental death due to drowning. So that's it, Johnny. Now you just make your reservation back to Hartford at that window right over there, and you are paying the freight.
Oh, not so fast, Jake. I'm sticking around.
Well, now you can see for yourself there's no reason for you to be here, much less at company expense.
Well, after all, now that I am here, it'd be kind of silly not to run down to the lake.
Well, you mean just to do some fishing on your own time.
You want to drive me down there?
Johnny.
Yeah?
Johnny, do you know something about the Hobbs case that I don't? And the police and the sheriff.
Jake, I don't know a thing about it.
Okay, Johnny. How do you want me to fix that crow you're going to eat?
Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment.
Our flag now numbers 50 stars, and behind each star there stands yet another flag representing one of the 50 states. Vermont's state flag, in its early form, imitated our national flag, uniquely bearing 17 stripes and 17 stars, with only the inscribed word Vermont to distinguish it. The good people of Vermont assumed, as did our national government, that stripes as well as stars would be added as each new state entered the Union. Vermont entered the Union after Tennessee and Ohio, and with Kentucky to join shortly, the Vermonters naturally put 17 stripes on their flag. In 1818, the United States Congress put a stop to this, and since then the stripes have always been at 13, and only stars are added for each new state. Vermont's present flag captures the famous beauty of the Green Mountain State in its coat of arms, and inscribed is the phrase, Vermont, freedom and unity. Vermont's state flag, the flag of the 14th state to enter the Union, was adopted on April 26, 1923.
And now, Act Two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Mojave Red Matter.
Elmer P. Hobbs of Los Angeles had died of drowning when his small boat capsized in a high wind on Lake Mojave. At least that's what Jake Kessler, his insurance agent, told me. Accident pure and simple, he said, and I could hie myself back to Hartford and forget about it. But I didn't. Simply because of the phone call I'd received from old Red Barrett, fishing guide at Lake Mojave Resort. I persuaded Jake to drive me over there on the excuse that as long as I was nearby, I might as well do some fishing. So he dropped me off, and since it was after midnight, went on back to Kingman. I wandered on down to the dock and boathouse.
Hello? Who's that?
Ham?
Huh? Johnny? Johnny Dollar?
Yeah.
Johnny Dollar?
Hi.
What are you doing here?
Hiya, Ham.
Hey. You know darn well what he's doing here, Ham. The fishing has never been better. Only how'd you get the word? And how are you, Johnny?
Oh, just great, Buster.
Did you stop by the office, let Marilyn fix you up with a room?
No, because as I recall, old Red usually sleeps here on the dock.
Oh, Red.
Well, why do you say it that way, Buster?
Because Ham and I are wasting good sleeping time down here, wondering why he hasn't come in yet.
You mean he's still out on the lake?
Yes, crazy.
But it's as black as the ace of spades out there.
And no moon tonight. Buster and I were about to take off and about to look for him. He pulled this very same stunt night before last. We finally found him drifting around about 9 miles up. He said he'd run out of gas. Showed his empty tank to prove it. Yeah, but we knew better.
What do you mean, Buster?
I mean, when he saw us coming after him, he dumped out what gas he had. Oil slick all over the lake. If somebody'd struck a match, why? You know, Red's been doing a lot of crazy things this past week or so. Ever since his old friend, Mr. Hobbs, died, they were pretty close.
And that is why he phoned me.
Red phoned you?
Yeah, early this morning. And if you ask me, it's because he doesn't believe Mr. Hobbs' death was accidental.
Johnny, you know something? I didn't quite believe it myself. Well, sure, we have some pretty big winds on the lake now and then, and it was a big one that day. Yeah, and then when the coroner and the other authorities, well, who's to argue with them?
Do you know if Red has found out anything? Anything at all?
All we know is he's given up taking out fishing parties and spends all his time prowling around the lake every day. And night. Says if he can find the boat Mr. Hobbs used...
What kind of a boat was it?
One of our regular rentals, an aluminum Arkansas Traveler. Yeah, with a 10-horse Johnson on it.
Well, listen. Those boats have flotation tanks.
Why, yeah.
So even if it did capsize, it wouldn't sink.
You're right, Johnny.
And there's been no sign of it?
None at all.
Then let's go up to the lake and find Red. Except for the stars far overhead, the night was black as ink. And the 50-horse outboard skimmed us along at better than 30 miles an hour. Believe me, it was a strange feeling, almost like flying through space. How Buster found his way around the islands, rocky points, and reefs, I'll never know, but he did.
Throw your flashlight over to the left, Ham. You ought to be about even with Sculpture Rock. Yep, there it is. And we're coming into the big basin.
Will you please tell me how you ever expect to find Red in all this darkness?
Oh, don't worry about him. He hears us coming, he'll signal by striking a match or something. Sure, Johnny, no matter how crazy you are, you never let somebody wander around in the dark looking for you out here. Red knows that because he's had to come out and hunt for too many people at night himself. Ham, look. Yeah? On the east shore. I'm swinging over there. Hey, you're right. There's a fire on the beach. Yeah, it must be Red. What's he doing out here? We'll soon find out. Hang on.
Well, all I have to say is you took long enough to bring Johnny up here.
Red, you old reprobate, what under the sun are you up to this time?
I just told you. I've been waiting for you to bring Johnny. Now you can leave us and go on back to the dock. And I thank you very much.
Red, we're not leaving until we find out what this is all about.
And if I tell you, will you promise to leave us alone?
Sure, we'll promise anything.
Oh, you see, I need Johnny's help.
Yes, well?
Because with him to follow up what I found today, well, Johnny, you and I are going to prove that my old friend Mr. Hobbs was murdered.
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment.
Every American fighting man has heard the expression, above and beyond the call of duty. How many of us have sat down and considered just what that word duty means? According to one dictionary definition, duty is man's conduct as required by his station or occupation, and that to which he is bound by moral obligation to do or not to do. When a man does more than his duty requires, he becomes more of a man in the eyes of his fellow men. One such was Captain John Philip Cromwell, commander of the submarine USS Sculpin, flagship of a submarine coordinated attack group of the United States Navy. Possessing secret intelligence information of our fleet movements, strategy, tactics, and attack plans, Captain Cromwell led his attack group in patrol of enemy waters around Truck Island in November 1943, just prior to the launching of our first large-scale offensive in the Pacific. Despite savage enemy opposition, he established a line of submarines around the enemy-held stronghold of Truk until his ship, the Sculpin, became so rocked and battered by depth bombs that he ordered it to the surface. He engaged the enemy with deck guns, giving his crew an opportunity to abandon the mortally stricken ship. Determined to sacrifice himself, rather than risk capture and the subsequent danger of revealing the secret plans to the enemy, Captain Cromwell remained aboard the Sculpin as she plunged to her death. He thereby preserved the security of the mission at the cost of his own life. Captain Cromwell earned the Medal of Honor for deep integrity and uncompromising devotion to the call of duty in the service of his country. But what he did defined the word duty better than any dictionary.
And now, Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Mojave Red Matter.
I'll tell you this, Johnny. Red here's one of the wildest, most irresponsible old characters I know when he wants to be. But he's okay nonetheless. And if he thinks you and he can find proof that Mr. Hobbs was murdered, well, he must have a good reason for it.
Well, Red?
Oh, now, Ham, do you think a man like Elmer Hobbs, knowing the lake the way he did, would ever let the big wind catch him off guard up here in the basin?
No, I don't, Red. I know that's the way Buster felt about it, too.
Well, I said that to you myself, Red.
But now, what's this proof you have of murder?
Well, Ham and Buster, aren't you going on back now that I've told you why I wanted you to bring Johnny here?
Was there any harm in our knowing what you found, Red? After all, we might be able to help you and Johnny.
Yeah, I thought about that, but you see, I might just possibly be wrong about... Well, I might just be wrong, and I wouldn't want to be ashamed in front of a lot of people.
By a lot, you mean 3.
Well, that's 3 times as many as just Johnny here.
Oh, well, now look,
No,
Red.
Johnny, he means it, so Ham and I'll go on back to the dock.
But I still don't see what difference it
Johnny, when you get to know Red as well as we do, you'll stop trying to figure out the whys and wherefores of some of the things he does and what makes him tick. But you'll also learn that in the long run, no matter how unorthodox some of those things are, well, oh, come on, Buster.
Right. See you when you get back to the dock, Johnny. Oh, you got some food, Red?
Now, you know I always keep something in my boat, Buster.
Okay.
Well, far be it from me, Red, but all I have to say is that whatever you think you found proof of, well, it sure better be something.
Oh, it is, Johnny. At least I think it is. Now, you just scrunch yourself a place to sleep in the sand. It's pretty late.
Huh?
Well, it took you so long to get here, and we can't see anything in the dark anyway.
Oh, now look, Red, for heaven's sake.
Good night, Johnny. Sleep well.
And that was the end of our conversation. And I began to wonder if Jake Kessler hadn't been right in the first place. If I hadn't come out here on a wild goose chase after all. But the more I wondered and thought about it, with nothing but the warm desert night about us, the twinkling stars, the magic sound of fish jumping in the lake, the sleepier I got. So I slept. The smell of bacon frying over the campfire awakened me, although the sun still hadn't shone over the mountains that border the eastern side of the lake.
Douse your face in the lake, Johnny. Then grab yourself some of this bacon and eggs.
I did as I was told. Then, squatting in the sand in front of the fire, stuffed away a hearty breakfast of bacon, eggs, and pancakes made from sourdough. And you know, there's something about a meal cooked over a campfire that, well, we had other things to do. So we climbed into Red's old aluminum boat and slowly drove up the lake, staying close to shore. Finally, we reached a small rocky cove.
Right here is the spot, Johnny. This little cove.
The spot for what, Red? You know, you still haven't told me.
You see there? You see where somebody has climbed up the rocks?
No, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, he couldn't have climbed up off of the water, so he must have climbed out of a boat.
So?
And there's footprints leading away across the desert. And, Johnny, they aren't Elmer Hobbs' footprints, no, sir.
So somebody climbed out of a boat here for one reason or another and took a walk into the desert.
The man who killed Elmer Hobbs.
What makes you think so?
Look down over the side, in the water.
Yeah, a boat sunk down there.
That's the boat that Elmer had. Can you see it clear?
Yes, very.
Then you can see it wasn't damaged enough to sink it. Not that boat.
You're right, Red. Particularly since it has flotation tanks.
But it's down there. It's sunk. So you better strip to your shorts, Johnny.
I'll go down and take a look.
Me? I already have. But I want you to look, Johnny. And remember, I knew everything that Elmer had in his boat when he left the dock. Remember that.
Okay. And you're sure the footprints leading into the desert couldn't possibly have been made by Mr. Hobbs?
That I'll swear to, Johnny, by all that's good and holy.
All right. Now then.
Now, slip in easy so you won't disturb the water too much.
I took a deep breath, surface dived, and swam down to the sunken boat. And the water was clear, and I could see plainly. And I saw that Red was right. I bobbed back to the surface.
Did you see him? The cut?
Yeah, Red. Those flotation tanks were slashed open with an axe or a sharp, heavy tool of some kind.
But Elmer had no axe on that boat. So it was somebody else, Johnny. Somebody who murdered him. Yeah. And then sank the boat.
Red, I'm afraid you're right. Elmer Hobbs was murdered. So there you have it, Jake. And if I were you, I'd call off payment on that claim immediately. Granted, the case isn't over yet. I still have the job of finding out who killed Elmer Hobbs. But you know something? You're going to have to wait for my next report. Meantime, expense account total to the moment, $159.20, including the cost of shooting and retrieving one crow. Jake, how would you like it cooked? Until the next report, then, yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Our star will return in just a moment.
Our flag now numbers 50 stars, and behind each star there stands yet another flag representing one of the 50 states. Oklahoma's state flag depicts an Osage warrior's circular buckskin shield from which hang 7 eagle feathers. Across the shield is the Indian's calumet, or pipe of peace, crossed with the white man's peace symbol, the olive branch. On the shield are small crosses, the Indian's graphic sign for stars, indicating lofty ideals or a purpose for high endeavor. The background of the flag is a field of blue, the blue of the Oklahoma sky, signifying loyalty and devotion. The important symbols, however, are the calumet and the olive branch. These override the shield, the symbol of war, and bespeak a predominant love of peace by a united people. Oklahoma's state flag, the flag of the 46th state to enter the Union, was adopted on April 2nd, 1925.
Now, here's our star to tell you about next week's story.
Next week? Well, after all, the case isn't really closed. But it will be next week, believe me. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, originates in Hollywood and is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone, who also wrote today's story. Heard in our cast were Lucille Meredith, Horace Lewis, Harley Bear, Alan Reed, and Barney Phillips. Be sure to join us next week, same time and station, for the conclusion of this exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Roy Rowan speaking.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Condensed Bat-Supe, featuring the conclusion of The Clan of the Fiery Cross from The Adventures of Superman. Thank you for listening. Be sure to tell your friends to subscribe to Bat-Supe on their favorite podcatcher. We can also be found on YouTube and Facebook. We'll see you next time for another exciting edition of Condensed Bat-Supe as we begin a brand new storyline and bring you the Mojave Red sequel. Until then, up, and away!
In the annals of the strange and the incredible, death has always played a significant role. For it is inevitable that the great mystery which has intrigued men's minds since the beginning of time should itself be surrounded by countless minor mysteries. Of all of these, none is more curious, none more difficult to explain than the tantalizing story of Geoffrey de Rossier's mirror.
Geoffrey de Rossier was dying. He lay in a ward at the War Memorial Hospital in Sault Ste. Marie. His nurse, Adeline Knoop, hovering near his bed, knew that the end could not be far off. Indeed, she thought that consciousness had already slipped away. But then, to her astonishment, Geoffrey de Rossier opened his eyes, and his lips moved feebly.
A mirror. Bring me a mirror.
Hastening to obey what was unquestionably his last wish, Nurse Knoop found the mirror and brought it to him. It was just an ordinary mirror, a rectangular piece of glass without a frame. He took it in his trembling hands and held it before his face.
Madame, I'm dying.
Nurse Knoop and 3 other occupants of the ward heard that wild, frantic cry. They saw him throw the mirror down on the steel table that stood beside his bed. But it did not break. It lay where it had fallen. And Geoffrey de Rossier slumped weakly back on his pillows. But before he lost consciousness completely, de Rossier murmured one final mysterious statement. And every person in the room heard it.
That mirror. You won't be able to pick it up.
Later that morning, when the body of Geoffrey de Rossier had been removed, Nurse Knoop assisted in preparing the bed for a new patient. And then the mirror, still lying on the table, caught her eye. She bent to pick it up. A moment later, her face suddenly white, she hurried out of the room and summoned an intern who was passing in the corridor.
Please,
when she told him her story, he followed her to the bed, chuckling with amusement.
I want to show it to you.
Relax, nurse. I don't think I'd be too upset about this.
But I tell you, it won't budge.
You've heard of an E-Day Feeks, haven't you? The late patient planted the idea in your mind, and it stayed there, that's all. You said you wouldn't be able to pick up the mirror, and lo and behold, you can't pick it up.
Let's see you pick it up.
Good Lord. For some strange reason, it stuck to the table.
And it remained stuck for 24 hours. During that time, practically every doctor and nurse on the floor tried to move it. And throughout that whole day and night, there was scarcely a person in the War Memorial Hospital who was not recalling, with a shudder, those strange last words of Geoffrey de Rossier. The following morning, Nurse Adeline Knoop came back on duty. Her first act, when she entered the ward, was to approach the bedside table. The occupants of the other beds watched attentively as she made one final effort to remove the mirror.
I just touched it. Why, it flew high in the air.
After that, the mirror was carefully examined. No chemical or adhesive substance was found, either on it or on the surface of the table. Efforts were made to force it to readhere to the table, but they were unsuccessful. It still remains a mystery. A mystery incredible but true.